Okay, welcome everyone to a meeting of the Conservation Commission of the Town of New Canaan. It is August 19th, 6:31 p.m., and I am calling this meeting to order. We'll start with roll call. Anne Sylvia here. Tom Cronin.
Here.
Tom Herman.
Here.
We lost John Fusik for some reason.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. Okay.
I'm sure.
All right, Tiger Man. Well, Tiger Man, you're with us on behalf of, I guess you're not part of roll call, but.
No, I'm not, but
okay.
Thank you anyways.
Okay, and John Fusek? Are you with us? John, are you there?
I'm
okay.
I blocked for a second, but I'm here.
Okay, great. And I believe Susan Schweitzer is here as well. Susan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Thanks everyone for making time for this special meeting. And now I will recognize Ed Libanati, who is here from the New Canaan Conservatory of Arts. Please correct that, Ed, if that's wrong. Ed is here to share a proposal with us, which we will vote on. Ed, please take the floor and share with us your plans.
Well, thank you, Anne. Hello, everyone on the commission. Chris, Tom, Susan, Tiger. Well, Tiger not on the commission, and John. I'm Ed Libanati. I'm the executive director of the Summer Theater of New Canaan. Many of you have been to some of our events. If not, I'm sure you've heard of them. We've been doing professional theater in New Canaan now during the summer for about, I guess this is our 23rd season. And Tiger, I've worked with everyone in the town over these years. Chris, I've seen regularly for the last, I guess, 4 years over at Bristow, regularly walking through. Melody, my wife, she is the artistic director with the Summer Theater, and she also runs the Performing Arts Conservatory in town, which works with a lot of children and adults in musical theater and acting and music and voice. What Melody and I discovered walking through Bristow, as many of you have, I'm sure, is the pure natural joy of being in what is almost like an oasis in the middle of town. And since the restoration of and the improvement of the trails, it's been marvelous. We walk there 4, 5, sometimes 7 days a week, different times of the day. I hate to say it's nice because it's underutilized. You know, we don't see a lot of people, and maybe this might help increase the awareness around town. But what we're, I believe you've all seen our proposal. Tiger, have you seen the proposal at all by any chance?
No, I haven't, Ed.
Oh, okay. I'll get it over to you. I know you'll be involved in some of the decisions at Park and Rec, et cetera, down the line. But essentially, the Summer Theater, along with the Land Trust, working, and this was a discussion with Chris, thought this project, this event, could be quite enjoyable, quite unique, and especially focused on an asset we have here in New Canaan. What we're looking at is an immersive walk through the Bristow trails. And when I say immersive, is you're familiar, you have the bird watching groups that come through occasionally, they'll walk through the trails. This is like an acting group. I mean, excuse me, this would be the public in groups of 10 or 15 or 20, depending on what we size it at, probably around 15. And they would go walking down the trails and they would discover a Shakespearean scene happening, right there. They would go down further and they'd see a madrigal. They go down further, there would be a sonnet and a musician playing. They go further, they see the scene from Romeo and Juliet, the balcony scene, etc. We'd have about seven or 8 events over the course of the walkthrough of Bristow Park. So they would be walking through and basically enjoying the park and discover things. This would all be in costume, all be in character, all of the actors that we have there. We would have a guide for each group that would, just, basically bring them, keep them on task and track as we go. And the event would be basically about 45 to 50 minutes. They would start in groups of, like I said, 15, and they would go in every 15 or 20 minutes, a new group would enter the park. And at one point, we might have 3 groups in the park, 3.5 groups in the park, however it works out. But they would all be separated by, 15 minutes, and they would then experience the same event continuing through the day. The event we're looking at would start around 10 a.m. and finish somewhere around 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, depending on how the tickets sales went, how popular it was, how long we wanted, how many people we would put in a group, etc. So that's the gist of it. We would have, like I said, timed entry where you have the groups of 15 or so. They would be all grouped. They would have a master of ceremonies greet them. They would then proceed into the park at their designated time. And as they're going in, then the next group would start to assemble and be ready. So this would be continuous. During the course of the time, we would have a break somewhere in the middle for the actors to take a break here and there, possibly have something to eat. It's very simple, just costumes. That's pretty much the concept behind it, where it's very interactive. They can talk to the actors are talking to them, but basically the actors are in character and they can engage the audience as that character would normally do in such a situation. These are all professional actors, professional singers. Some of these actors, in all likelihood, will be actually from England and true Shakespearean performers. So the credibility or the quality of the event's not in question. It's just a question of, is this something that you feel is appropriate to happen in this park? And rather than try and explain every single thing that's going to happen, I'd be happy to answer questions as to any thoughts as to how we would proceed with this, based on any concerns that you might have as shepherds of the park.
Great. Thank you, Ed. I think we could take questions and comments from both the public and the commission at this point. Chris Schipper, I know you're here as a member of the public, but also welcome back as our former chairman of the commission. Did you want to weigh in or ask any questions about the event?
I would like to just briefly weigh in and say that I think this would be a lovely event for Bristow Park, and it would take advantage of the fact that we created certain viewing areas or sitting areas or points of interest, and that the performance would then bring people all the way around the park. It might bring some new people in the park. This is not going to be and Ed, maybe I'm right or wrong about this, but there won't be really amplification. There'll be music. We've done that before when we did the centennial celebration. So I mean, the fact that we've are looking at a next event, in my mind, makes great sense, and it takes advantage of the pavilion, the seating area by the pond, the lookout on the upper trail, perhaps the bird blind area, or the top of the or the Francis area. There are a number of spots that this could be done. So I love the concept of introducing this into the park, and it's not exactly Shakespeare in the park, but it's pretty close to Shakespeare in the park, and I think I love the whole lot of that.
Sounds like Shakespeare in the park to me. I don't know how you define Shakespeare in the park, but boy, this seems qualify.
It's Shakespeare in the Sanctuary, Bard, and Bristow, but we're in that scheme, and I think anything that gets people to walk through the park and pause and hear things of interest and then wander on is great. It's also it's just after the 101st anniversary. It's in early October, which will be a beautiful time of year in there. We know that early September was lovely. This might be just as beautiful. So I'm very supportive and enthusiastic of the idea, and I feel like all our parks host events, whether it's kids soccer or baseball or music on the back square. And I think that it adds to the luster of Bristow to have visitation and do something theatrical and artistic like this. So I'm a fan, and I would love to see this performance take place.
Great, thank you, Chris. Any questions, comments, concerns from our commissioners or from Tiger?
I don't have any comments, Ann, but thank you.
Okay.
Tiger, I'm not sure how up to speed you are on all the conversations that I've had with the town, but John and I walked the park last week, and he seems very supportive of the project.
Yes, I
And-
heard that, Ed. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, if I might. It's John Fusek. I assume that to the extent that, there's 100 or more than 100, 200 plus people, including the actors coming through, that, you would take responsibility for any damage that's done to the plantains. As you know, there's several $100,000 that have gone into the restoration of the park, and we want to make sure a larger group like this, is cognizant of leaving it the way it was when they got there.
Let me address that, and we're just as concerned as you are that we leave no trace of what happened that day, when it's over. It's really almost identical to a bird watching group walking through. The difference might be that there are performances, and those performances are in areas that are conducive to a performance. Some of them already are most of them are all, not all of them are areas for public to be in. So it's not like we're going to be traipsing through the woods and anything like that. Okay.
I have a quick question as well.
If I might just follow up on that, to the extent that there was any damage, if a kid runs through and trashes a plant unexpectedly to you, that we have your assurance to replace that and leave it the way it was.
We have insurance on that. We have insurance, as far as liability insurance and I guess damage insurance. I'm sure this could be addressed. I don't anticipate it. We've been in areas with the Garden Club and the Beautification League, and they've expressed the same things, and we've somehow come out unscathed with all of our events. So
yeah,
it's unlikely. Let's put it that way.
I wasn't asking for insurance, just the assurance that it'll be as it was.
That is the goal, and that is the
Thank you.
intention. And we only have about 12 people or so, maybe 15 people spread out over the park. So we're not really overwhelming it in any way whatsoever, as far as our own group, in addition to the people going through. And they're in groups of 2, 1, or maybe 3 at the most.
I guess what I didn't hear you say, that you will take responsibility for any damage that is done, rather than it just being a goal. I'd feel better if you just said, yes, we'll leave it the way it was when we got there.
Yes, beyond normal wear and tear. How's that? Okay, like in most contracts.
Wow, that is that is shockingly phrased. But go ahead with any other questions commissioners have.
A Shakespearean response from Ed. My question actually was about insurance. And so I think we should just, confirm that's in place, liability, whatever the proper is. It sounds like it is. And I'm sure I'm sure there's an appropriate person within the town to confirm, or within the park administration to make sure that happens. My other question was, how many people do you expect? Is this a paid ticketed event?
Yes, we're looking at this as Well, it's a paid ticket event, largely to help offset the costs of this. The Summer Theater doesn't have the resources to fund this entirely on its own. We've received from the Land Trust a $2,500 grant to do this. We received from Webster Bank, private bank, a sponsor for this, $2,500. We hope to solicit additional patrons or sponsors to help cover the costs of it, of the event as we go forward. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
That-
I answered the full question, did I?
Well, you indicated that there are finances
Oh,
associated
the
with it, ticket
tickets,
costs
yes.
and so forth. But
Yeah.
how many people are you anticipating? I mean, is this like 200 people or?
If we just do the basic math of what the capacity of this event could be, based on how we've structured it, if we're doing 15 people, let's say 4 groups maximum an hour, and then obviously we would skip the next one likely, so we don't have any backups, whatever, or keeping people. But let's say I think it was a possible 14 groups or that we can go through of 20. So, or 15, so it came up to around $200, give or take. If indeed it seems to be very popular,
$200, you mean 200 people?
200 people, excuse me, 200 people. If it seems to be very popular, we can discuss possibly increasing the groups from like 15 to 20, but we can't really increase the number of groups within that period of time. We can't, because the experience needs to be, individual for each group, and each group has to be separated from the other, so no one's interfering with anyone else's, distraction. But the goal.
Yeah, so about 200 people sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and I think it was in the proposal, and the amount 15 to 20, and I think that'll be based on ticket sales and how it goes. We're looking to keep this very accessible to everyone. We haven't set the ticket price yet. We're waiting. We're waiting for to talk through this and make sure how many sponsors we get, et cetera, before we put the tickets on sale. But we're looking in the neighborhood of $25 to $30. A senior price lower than the adult price, or a child price lower than the adult price. It's really more of a to help cover costs, and at the same time charge something so people just don't sign up and not come. It's more of a negative reinforcement than anything else at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think that there's a possibility that it would cover some contribution to the park, like literally birdseed? I don't know the park's finances either, so I don't know if the park needs to solicit funds. Maybe John knows that better, but just out of curiosity.
Well, right now we're trying to cover costs. If it goes beyond that, I'm sure. Should I discuss this with the Conservancy, or should I discuss this with the Land Trust, or should I discuss this with the Park and Rec?
I have no idea.
Tiger, any recommendations there?
I think I can jump in on this one. With regards to making a contribution to the birdseed, that's already done through the Friends of the Centennial, the Bristol
Yeah.
Park Centennial Endowment. And
Okay.
so on that front, it makes sense. I would say, perspective wise, this is the first time we're trying something, and it's pretty hard to project a gain or a loss, or hopefully not either. But
Yeah.
I think that the concept is there to explore, and I think it's I think if we just take a view of, hey, this is somewhat entrepreneurial, let's give it a try, but it's within the arts and culture spirit that's being promoted for that week. I would say it would be all right, and I would say the Friends of Bristol Park might underwrite some of this as well if it was needed. So I would say the financial side, I think the risk is really on Ed and his crew, but I think everybody will pull forward. And then the other big plus I see of this is if you get a lot of people coming in, or you get a new group of people coming in, they might become future supporters of Bristol Park as well. That's the goal, is to have people experience the park and support it.
That
And-
sounds great. I'm in favor either way. I just didn't want to feel shy about like not asking the question. But I'm not. I'm happy either way, and certainly supportive of the concept.
One last note on that is we're not talking significant funds here. We're talking, you know, I mean, a potential gross of $3,000 to $5,000 at the best. So my sense is, as Chris is saying, let's see how this goes, and if it works, then next year we'll be that much more ahead of the game. Should this be something we wish to do again, or anniversary, or do it a different time of the year, based on how things go.
Right.
But I think the
Great.
environment is just fresh, it's just totally unique, more so than any other park in town. This is really unique to this park, doing something like this.
Great.
Sounds great.
Great.
Tom, did you have any issues or questions?
I did. I just out of curiosity, I was wondering if there was any setup required prior to the event, and then also if there was a any kind of dress rehearsal. And I ask only because I'm sure some of the commissioners would be interested in attending and seeing the event, even if it was just a sort of dress rehearsal, but not necessarily taking up space from patrons on the actual date of the event.
Absolutely, it's a great question, and let me walk you through the schedule. And it's all tentative right now, because these are 2 to 3 minute vignettes, and we're working with professional actors. They will come in prepared. What we need to do though is costume them. All right, so we'll be bringing in Renaissance costumes. We're not doing it modern day, we're doing it in period. So they need to be fitted, okay, and then rehearsed, as we call it, dress rehearsal in the space at one point. And that we would do on Friday, October 3rd in the afternoon, in all likelihood, somewhere between, let's say, 2 and 4 o'clock, just to get everyone into their place. There's 7 groups, let's say. Each one has its own show. It's not like they're all rehearsing together. So we go in with this group, they work out their thing. We do another group, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We may have several working at the same time based on how the director sets it up. And then what's most important is we walk through the whole process ourselves and make sure everything times out right. Yes, we can have a watch on how long each scene is. So we figure there's 30 minutes of performance and there's 20 minutes of walking, or 25 minutes of walking, something like that. And we've calculated it on a group walk of about 1.5 miles per hour versus a typical stroll of 3 miles an hour. So we're trying to think this thing through. The other thing is, I talked with John about this, John Howe, about putting a porta potty over by the 106 entrance in that corner. We found a spot that was very unobtrusive and not near anyone. For that, they would deliver it on Friday. We would use it Saturday and or Sunday if it was a rain date, and they'd pick it up on Monday. And we'd lock it when we're not using it. That's, so it's there.
Parking would be in Mead.
Parking would be in the Mead Park in all likelihood. And we've also talked with, we're also checking out on the schedule of any baseball, whatever. It appears that there might be one game in the morning or till around noon, and that we think there's ample parking for this, as we believe there's ample parking for this event. And now, as far as checking in and stuff like that, we would have, depending on where the people enter, which would be from, let's say, the Mead parking lot area by the concession, by that little cafe, by I guess that's Mellick Field, right there. We would probably have a sign or something at that point, or a person, depending on if we needed to direct them more so, to come down that beautiful pathway now, the new path that was built. Then we would have, if there is no game in the Gamble Field, which is the second field, there's a little bleachers there. And what we would do is have the people come in and sit on the bleachers while they're waiting. And we'd have a master of ceremonies who's a stand-up comic, okay, essentially, and comedian and a Cirque du Soleil clown and whatever. I mean, it's my son-in-law, God help us. And he's just fabulous. He was a headliner at Atlantic in Las Vegas for 5 years, opening up shows and stuff like that. So he's very, very seasoned in this, and he's a professional actor as well. So he will he's the warm-up guy to get everyone excited, to get everyone dealing, with Shakespearean terms, getting them to all talk, to interact together, et cetera, and become a group. And then they will be led off either by one of the characters or one of the docents. Each group will have one docent, or let's say one leader, who would then just lead the group down the paths. Which way do you go? And then as soon as the scene is over, they would then go to the next scene, just to keep and answer any questions that people have during the case, or if there's an issue, he can address that, and we can, take care of that. We'll have communications in the park also in several places. So if there's any issue, or someone gets sick, or something happens, whatever, we can be on it right away and get the appropriate response as needed. So safety and security is a conscious effort of the whole program, largely because we're all over the place in the park at that point. It's not like everyone's in one place. It's easy. So we'd have a check-in table. People would sit right by the bleachers. If there's a game there, they would do it up by the gate, up by the entrance gate, up the hill. It would all happen in that place, which is a little more private, whatever. So it would be isolated.
Ed, if it's a fall Saturday, if I know Mead, there's going to be a game there.
Yes, there is one, but I understand that the use of Gamble Field at that point, which is the one right by the entrance, that's the second field you walk past. We don't know, but John was going to get back to me and check out on the schedule. But he thought, again, he wasn't sure, but he thought that there wasn't a game on that Saturday in that park, which I think if there is, this is New Canaan, this is life, and we deal with it. It's, we're not going to lose sleep. It's the energy of the town is great. Let's just add to it.
Great. And Susan, did you have any comments or questions for Ed?
A question. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
We can hear you, sort of, but please go ahead.
Well, I just was asking, because I'm assuming the park is closed to the public because you have not bought a ticket. What do you do with the families who come? Because there's a lot of activity in that playground on a Saturday, and they see what's going on and they want to come in.
Well, my preference would be, this is what's happening. Come back anytime you like. We have a show going on from here to here. They're going in one direction. There's 20 people coming down this path. If you have a dog, there's people in costumes standing in odd places. I think it would be a little confusing for people going into the park, and a distraction at times potentially of trying to go through these groups of people. So yes, the park can remain open and you can have dogs go through, whatever, but my feeling is, I think that would be unwise, all right, for something like this. I do think if it's a single person or one or two people and they're walking without an animal, all right, I think fine. We're not going to stop anyone from going into the park. We like to say it's only for the event, but I think this becomes the commission's decision on this, in tandem with with anyone else if there's some issues on it. But is there objection to closing, or let's say limiting the use of the park to the general public during this event, which is for the general public to, attend?
I would assume it's going to be closed for people who don't have tickets and aren't using it. It's only for a few hours.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think, Ed, if you look at the visitation of the park, there are the heavy users, the walkers who are morning or evening or what have you. If we post a sign saying this event is going to occur on, Saturday, October 4th, between 10 and 2, park will be temporarily closed. People will either, come in earlier, go in later, or they'll see the sign and say, oh, we'll take a different route. We'll walk a different way. So we could have a sign at the Mead Park entrance and a sign at the Old Stanford Road entrance a week in advance, notifying the general public. But remember, that also is an advantage because it will indicate, oh, and if you're interested in attending, you can buy tickets on this on
That's
this.
great. John Howe and I discussed the same thing as to, if we could, we put a sign up a week or so in advance, for everyone to see, and we put it the 3 entrances or exits, that are there. And possibly another one over by Mead Park where Gamble, where Mellick Field is, right as the entrance is, so people are aware. And create some excitement, and then you can deal with the phone calls.
Great.
I don't think there'll be any, everybody's going to be supportive of this.
I would hope so. I would think so. Thank you.
Great. And I don't have questions, but more of a request. One, as you consider the name of this event, in your proposal, you said the Bard at Bristow was one of the names you were considering. So I wanted to express support for that, for getting Bristow in the name of the event.
I
Because
think that's important. Yeah.
yes. And then secondly, I think it would be great if we had documentation of the event, visual documentation like photos or videos, so that if this is a success and, it's something the town wants to repeat year after year, it could be a great way for the town to do social media around the event and do some storytelling to promote, the town's fall arts programming.
Yeah. I think taking pictures and documenting this event is great. And I think the commission would want to do it on its own. Okay. We would probably want to do some as well. I'm not sure if the commission would act on behalf of the town or whatever. I mean, the Conservancy, excuse me. But yes, I think this is something that can be best explained in pictures and or small video clips, and in social media going out afterwards.
Yeah.
I think it could be a real plus. I mean, this is no longer for bird watchers only. This is for anyone who wants to enjoy nature, okay, and appreciate the birds and the path and everything else. And it's fun. It's going to be a fun event, and Bristow's a cool place.
Great. Well, just to keep an eye on the time here, does anyone else have a question or a concern from the public or from commissioners so that we can take a vote? Or any clarifying questions, any information we haven't covered? If so, please chime in now.
Two quick points. One is there's something very lovely about the Bard in Bristow, because Bard and Barred Owl are the same, so you can play with the bird and the name. I do think that there will be some requirement to keep a few parking places open towards the apple cart area. We did that when we had the centennial celebration, and then to direct people to say if it's best to walk in if you can. Otherwise, take your car. You could park at the railroad lot or Mead parking lot, but be aware that it's coming in. But the other big point here is it's 200 people, potentially 200 people, and I think it's a great goal, but it's probably optimistic. It's over 4 hours. We had 250 people in there in 1 hour. So the park can certainly handle that, and the parking all can be managed there.
Great.
I'd just like to make one other comment, which is I'm totally supportive of the concept. I do have a reservation about the closure of the park to the public for essentially a private event. And while I'm supportive in this case, from my perspective, I view this as kind of a trial of concept before we get ahead of ourselves. Looking forward.
I have one thing I wanted to mention that I've been trying to think through, and I think this is something Chris and I can talk to, or whoever talk about, is ADA compliant, not compliance, but ADA access. Because right now we're thinking of taking the high trail and coming down. And our thought was, if someone can't do that, and this will be explained in the introduction, they can take the middle trail, if you're familiar with it, that goes right through along the stream, and they would miss the first piece or so of what's going on, but they would catch up to the next one, and they can just go there and catch up, and have whoever is with that person walk them over there, and we could have someone help guide them or whatever. I'm just trying to think of how we can make this accessible to everyone, and that everyone can share in the experience. Because we debated whether to use that path, but it really is a special path up there. And it really highlights looking over the garden, so we felt it was worth it. And it's really not that difficult. And anyone who's going to be walking is going to be technically walking for about, a mile, and they're going to be walking for, 20 minutes, or they'll be on their feet for, 50 minutes, or sitting down in some of the benches from time to time when we have a scene. So I think they're going to only do it if they feel comfortable doing something like this, being adventurous, essentially.
That's a great point. And one quick follow-up to John and Susan's comments about closing off the park. I think there's a lot you can do with the language in the signage that you put up, where instead of the park will be closed, instead there's a QR code that says, please come to our first annual, the Bard at Bristow event. And by the way, the park will be closed, inviting the public to come, the regular users to come and support the event and enjoy the park in a whole new way.
Right. And again, it would
The park will be closed if only New Canaan had enough parks.
Anybody else before we take a vote? Okay, so I think the expression is all in favor.
Want to make a motion?
Oh, make a-
Make a motion to
you.
approve the request from the Summer Theater of New Canaan in partnership with New Canaan Land Trust to present The Bard at Bristow, Shakespeare in the Sanctuary on October 4th, 2025. That's my motion. Second?
I'll second the motion.
Great.
Now all in favor. Perfect.
Now all in favor.
Yes, in favor. Aye.
Yes.
I'm in favor.
We have a yes from John Fusek, a yes from Tom Cronin, Tom Herman.
Yes.
Okay, and Susan Schweitzer.
Yes.
Okay, and that's a yes from me as well. Great. So the motion passes.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you, Ed, and good luck with the event.
If, again, we'll be in communication throughout this entire process, especially with yourself. And everyone in the, you're all invited at any time during the dress rehearsal, during the event, to participate. We will be looking for some volunteers as well. And it looks like this is a good group that's enthusiastic and would enjoy it. So we'll talk more about that. If you're in town, of course.
Great.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me to this meeting.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you everyone for joining us for the special meeting. We need a motion to close, don't we?
I motion to adjourn. the
Thank
meeting.
you, Anne, for organizing us.
Thank you. I think we need a second. I'll second that, Tom. And the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Thank you,
all.
Anne.
take care.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.